Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition, yes, of the Velvet Lounge Life Waterbury Button Company continuation, wonderful saga, amazing adventure. Just imagine if it was a book. Okay, so yes, I know I sound like a broken record to some of you, and I totally ask for your forgiveness, but I just want new viewers to know what this is all about. So I have been collecting Waterbury Button Company buttons since I was very young. What did I like about them? What I liked about them is the chunkiness, the feel of them in my hand. Unlike other metal buttons, they weren't just like light and flimsy, but they were, this sounds ridiculous, but I remember as a child, they reminded me of currency or coins. Come to find out, some of them were made from the same materials as currency and coins, such as sterling silver, nickel, copper, and the like. So yeah, I became a fan. Also, the other thing that I liked is the fact that there were so many designs. Okay, so yes, it helps that I live in the state where, or lived in the state, live in the state where these buttons were created. I didn't live near where they were created, but if you travel throughout our state and if you look really hard and look at places where others don't, such as on clothing, it's amazing how many people will look at clothes and be like, oh, that's an ugly shirt, or let's just say jacket, coat. And they don't look at the buttons. And usually the buttons are much more valuable in history and maybe perhaps in monetary issue than the actual garment is itself. So what do? You pay the 25 cents, 50 cents for the garment, and you cut off the buttons and you recycle or discard the remaining garment parts. I've done that a couple times. I would say maybe over all of my years, I've done that maybe 10 to 20 times. Whereas I purchased something just because of the buttons themselves and did not care about the garment at all. And also the other thing to do is don't look for your size. Look for any size other than children, obviously, like due to safety issues and things like that. Lots of kids' clothes, even back when we were children, some of us, people had safety in mind. Were the buttons safe back then? Not really. They were small in different colors of plastic. So some kids probably still, suckled on them thinking, oh, this is like candy, even though it has no flavor. But it's pretty though. But then, of course, for anyone who was, in scouting or some sort of group activity that required a uniform, you might have some of these buttons that you could have recovered from those clothing items. Obviously, if you had someone that had to wear a uniform for work reasons or career reasons, such as the military, if they were if they worked for the government and required a uniform, or if they worked for the state or local government in your city, state, town. Obviously, there's bus drivers, there's police officers, firefighters, like the list goes on and on, EMTs, etc. Hospitals, the post office, like I'm going on and on, but there's just so many other organizations that would put it in order for these cool buttons. I don't have a lot of those here in this part of the collection. I have those in my uniform and military collection of buttons. And at some point I will get to showing you what I have in that particular collection. And that's probably, 2 or 3 videos right there. But there's so much in the pipeline that, I just want to finally finish this series for you. I thought I would have one more video, meaning this one, but it looks like we're probably going to have 1, maybe 2. So we'll get to get right into this and start with obviously what you see on the white box. Oh, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber to this YouTube channel right now. Why? Because it's important that YouTube, that Google sees that this is an area that people care about. Why is that important? It's important because the more that you subscribe to videos like mine, and the more that you watch them, of course, and leave comments, a thumbs up. Did I say subscribe? Yes, I did. They show up higher up in the search results so that more results will also rise to the top. It has this word algorithm behind it. So if you would do that, it would not just help me, but other people that create button content as well. And I'm sure all of them, as well as myself, greatly appreciate your patronage. So here we go. Let's start with this sweet little beauty here. This is one of my favorite buttons, and you'll hear me say that so many times because I have so many favorites. But why do I like it? I like it because it's just the way it's made. Like the detail that's in it, the little like dotted circles, circular shapes that go around the heart. The heart isn't flat. It's, pushed out in that mold to get this beautiful, like tactile design. Like you just touch it, it's super smooth. And then of course the framing around the edge and the highlighting with the black. And I love this in this silver metal versus like gold. I think it would just be just not as nice. And the reason for that, I think it would seem more typical if it was in a golden color. But that is really pretty. I am glad they did not enamel this and they left it as it is. And you can see the back. You can see that faint watermark. The little tiny indents are like the watermark, which is one of the ways that you can help identify whether you have a Waterbury Button Company button or not. And of course, perfectly joined edges. So beautiful. Wonderful button. Can't wait to use that in a project. And I'm working on a project where I am attaching one of every Waterbury Button Company button I have to a charm string. So I'm creating a charm string just dedicated to that company. Here, this is in what we call a Brutalist mid-century modern design. This one is small. This one is about the size of a dime, American 10-cent piece. And the thing I like about it, of course, is the texture, the slight doming on it. And this is what the back looks like, that tire design with all the circular motion in there, boxed shank. And they made a few in this particular design. And they were all slightly different shapes, but pretty much the same premise. This one has all these little swirls in it. It's just so interesting to look at. Like you can see there's like swirly, swirly, swirly swirls on top of swirls. And then the edge is beautifully finished. And then when I flip it over, you can see all of the W's on the back. That classic shank that they used. Awesome joining. And I do have one Waterbury Button Company in my entire collection. I looked, and believe me, you guys, I have, like, for some of the buttons that you see, I have dozens of them. Like dozens of the same exact button. This is one of the buttons where I only have a few of them. But this button is one of the few that actually has errors. So you can see where there's paint or the highlighting is missing there in the upper right-hand corner. And then you can see the edge is just like, it's almost like antiqued or something, vintaged. What is that? What do they call it? Shabby chic? That's what this button reminds me of, something that's shabby chic. And then I have the other few buttons that are exactly like this. I have maybe 6 of these, and they're perfect. So I just wanted to show you that once in a while, and it's rare because out of the thousands I have, this is the only one I could find that had a really distinctive error in it. And it had to do with the highlighting process. So I thought that was very interesting. And this one is a little bit smaller than a American Couture. Let's do this one. Now this has Latin writing on it, or script. And the date, I'm trying to read it first, 1841, I believe it says, or 18, actually, I'm sorry, I think it says 1864. Can you see that? Yeah, 1864. And it says Condita Academia Bates Nina, 1864, and you could see that emblem or whatever it is in the center, and I think there's some very faint wording there on the left and right side of that horseshoe shaped thing in the center. There is. I would need my loop to read that. I mean, that's really small. If you can read it, please note what you think it says down in the comments. If you know anything about this button, please note down in the comments. I did not translate what these words mean, but obviously this was made for an organization, something to do with academics. This is what the back looks like. It's one of the older buttons. It's, you know, just absolutely stunning. The word Connecticut is fully spelled out, which is one of the ways that you can know that this is an older button. The way it's made, very unusual. Like I said, they did lots of private commissions for different organizations, and this is obviously one of them, done in brass. Stunning. So if you know, and ooh, look at the Aladdin's lamp in the right in the upper center of this. It's right there. Amazing. Every time I look at this button, I see something different. So if you know anything, let me know. Who knows? I might actually send it to you. So let's look at this one. This one is also very detailed, and this shows you their art, I wouldn't say artsmanship, is that a thing? But their workmanship. Look at the detail. This button is crisp. Every line is like so clear in this. Every detail is so purposeful, from the shield having those tiny little like turns right there on the upper left and right side, even here in the center where I think that's sort of a crown. And look at these standing lions with their wings. It's just gorgeous. And I believe that, once again, this was a private commission, but if you know anything about this button, please let me know. I have a feeling that this was made for Louis Vuitton, and you can see the L and the B there. I have a few of these buttons, and they're all just so finely made. I'm pretty sure these may have been made for Louis Vuitton, but I'm not sure. And they have the W on the back, that beautiful box shank, where they join the back to the front. Stunning, perfect. But take another look at this, and like I stated, if you know anything about it, please let me know, and I might actually send you one of these buttons. So we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, and when we get there, I am putting together little button packets to send out to you guys for absolutely free. We pay the postage as well, just to say thank you. So please be part of that, and also share our videos so that you can help us get to that point of 1,000 or more subscribers so that I want to send you my stuff. Let's look at this one. This one is really pretty. It reminds me of spring and flowers that you see in the summer. I have no idea why. That's always a thought I get when I look at this. I love the detail of the little shoots coming out of the flower with the long line, and then the little circular dots that are at the end of each one. So versus just saying, oh, let's put a flower in the center and leave it at that, that's going the extra mile. That's absolutely gorgeous. And the sort of scalloping that they did, I would call this an inverted scallop, of course, versus one that's on the outer edge. I'm sorry, but it's late here, and yeah, now my words are starting to blur a little bit. But I love that inverted scalloping that they did around the frame of this, or the edge, and that nice dark center, like so perfectly done. And this one has the W's on the back. Once again, that classic shank. Beautiful joining that they did with the back to the front. So, yum. This is like candy to me. So I want to thank you all for tuning in for another episode. And as I promised, I said there probably would be one more Waterbury Button Company button video coming. And yes, there will be, because I still have so many more to share. I am going to just let this video run out, which could happen right now, and show you some more buttons as this video is running. I will try to not talk much about them. They will probably, we'll just see how we get there. This one is from the 1970s. And look at that design. They started to go to the semicircle design in the back. This is a Waterbury Button Company button. I actually have the box that these came in from the manufacturer. Here's another pretty one, and this one is small. It's a little bit smaller than an American dime or 10-cent piece. And just look at that design. It's sort of like the eye, except for it doesn't have the white part of the eye, but the iris, the pupil. Beautiful. So I call that the eye design. And this is the small version of the Viking boat. I have showed you guys the large one previously. Where are you? This is the small version. This one is smaller than an American dime. So this one is pretty small, but you can see the details of the ship. Oh, held it upside down anyway. The details of the ship in there. So it looks just like the larger button. It's just that it's in the small or the child size. This is in a Brutalist mid-century modern design. Lots of black highlighting. It almost reminds me of rope from a ship that's been tied over and over again. Ooh, what can I show you? Oh, before time runs out. Get one more in there. This will be the final one. Then I will come back in the future with another video. And look at that beautiful hatch design. Sort of like a gingham in brass. And You've seen this back just a few moments ago on the other button. So thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And once again, just please remember to subscribe, leave a thumbs up. Any comments that you have down below, any opinions are greatly welcome. Remember to take care of yourself. Your health is your wealth, and without your health, you have absolutely nothing. So take care, have a great day, and be well.